Commander Frank Mitchell stood at the observation deck of Earth Space Command headquarters in Denver, watching the sunset paint the Rocky Mountains in shades of gold and purple. His reflection in the glass showed a man in his late 40s, with short gray-peppered hair and the confident posture of someone who had spent his life in military service. Beautiful, isn't it? Ambassador Lisa Warren joined him at the window. Her diplomatic uniform was crisp and formal, a contrast to Mitchell's more utilitarian attire. Might be the last peaceful sunset we get to enjoy for a while, Mitchell replied, his eyes still fixed on the horizon. 3 days ago, humanity had made first contact with the Galactic Council. After decades of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, the aliens had found Earth instead. The discovery of faster-than-light travel 6 months earlier had apparently triggered some kind of alert system. Now, representatives from 27 different intelligent species wanted to meet with Earth's leaders. The transport arrives in 2 hours, Warren said, checking her tablet. Admiral Harrison wants us in the briefing room. Mitchell nodded, and they walked through the gleaming corridors of the headquarters. Staff members hurried past, some stopping to salute Mitchell. Everyone felt the weight of this moment in history. Admiral George Harrison waited for them in the briefing room. His weathered face looked even more serious than usual under the harsh lights. "Commander Ambassador," he greeted them. "Take a seat. We don't have much time." The three of them sat around the circular table as Harrison activated the holographic display. Images of various alien species appeared, along with data about their biology, technology, and culture. "The Council delegation will arrive at our outer solar system station at 2200 hours, Harrison explained. Their message indicates they want to welcome humanity to the galactic community, but intelligence suggests they're particularly interested in our military capabilities. Warren leaned forward. "That's standard procedure in diplomatic relations, Admiral. They want to know if we're a threat, or if we're easy prey," Mitchell added. Harrison nodded. "Exactly, which is why we're implementing Operation Low Profile." He tapped the display, bringing up images of Earth's orbital defense systems. "As far as the Council knows, we have a modest defense fleet and some basic weapons platforms. Nothing special." Mitchell studied the images. The visible defense systems were indeed basic, designed to look that way. But he knew what lurked beneath. The surface, hidden in stealth fields and disguised as commercial satellites. "They don't need to know about the Artemis network or the phase shift platforms," Harrison continued. "Not yet." Warren frowned. "Isn't dishonesty a poor way to start? Interstellar relations?" "It's not dishonesty," Mitchell countered. "It's strategic information management. Humanity has a long history of being cautious with new contacts. For good reason." Harrison nodded in agreement. "You two will represent Earth at the initial meeting. Be friendly, be open, but remember the protocols. Trust is earned, not given." 2 hours later, Mitchell and Warren stood in the airlock of the International Space Station Alpha, positioned at the edge of the solar system. The station had been hastily repurposed for this historic meeting, with the central chamber converted into a neutral space suitable for various alien biologies. "Ready?" Mitchell asked, adjusting his uniform's collar. Warren nodded, her expression calm, but her eyes revealing her excitement. "Born ready." The airlock cycled open, and they entered the chamber. 5 alien representatives waited inside. Mitchell had studied their profiles, but seeing them in person was different. The tall, blue-skinned Arcturian named Nal Beth stood in the center. As chairperson of the Council delegation, she, or at least Mitchell assumed the translator was using the correct pronoun, was their primary contact. "Commander Mitchell, Ambassador Warren," Nal Beth spoke, her translator converting her musical language into English. "We welcome Earth to the greater galactic community." "On behalf of humanity, we thank you for this welcome," Warren responded. Smoothly, the Valurian representative Zixtar stepped forward. His reptilian features formed what Mitchell guessed was their version of a smile. "We've been monitoring your development for some time. Your achievement of faster-than-light travel triggered the invitation protocols." Mitchell wondered what else they had been monitoring. He maintained a neutral expression. "We're honored to be considered ready for contact. The Council has many resources to share with developing species," Nalbeth explained. Technologies, cultural exchanges, scientific knowledge. But first, we must understand your civilization better. The meeting continued for hours. Mitchell and Warren explained Earth's history, political structures, and basic technological capabilities. The aliens seemed particularly interested in Earth's conflicts and military history. So your planet has been at peace for nearly 40 years? Zixtar asked, his translator unable to hide the skepticism in his tone. Global peace, yes, Mitchell confirmed. We still have regional conflicts and peacekeeping operations, but nothing on the scale of our previous world wars. And your defense capabilities? Another representative asked. This one was a draconian, a species known for their military prowess, according to the briefing files, Warren answered carefully. We maintain a modest defense fleet, mostly focused on asteroid deflection, orbital security, and exploration support. Earth's nations have found military cooperation to be more efficient than competition. Mitchell noticed the glances exchanged between the alien representatives. Subtle, but present. The Council offers protection to developing worlds, Nalbeth said. We could classify Earth as a protected species. This would ensure your safety while you continue to evolve. Mitchell met Warren's eyes briefly. They both recognized the condescension in the offer. Thank you for your generosity, Mitchell replied. But Earth prefers to maintain its independence while building cooperative relationships. We believe we can contribute to the Council as equals. Zixtar made a sound that the translator didn't catch, but Mitchell understood dismissal when he heard it. Of course, Nalbeth said smoothly, which is why we invite your representatives to visit the Council Hub on Nexus Prime. There you can present Earth's case for full membership rather than protected status. We would be honored, Warren said. After the meeting, as the alien delegation returned to their ship, Mitchell and Warren exchanged concerned looks. They're underestimating us, Mitchell said quietly. Warren nodded. Badly. Good, Mitchell replied. Admiral Harrison's strategy is working. Better they think us naive than dangerous. As they watched the alien ship depart, Mitchell sent a coded message back to Earth. Protocol Watchful Eye initiated. The Council sees what we want them to see. The game had begun. Humanity would play the part of the eager, somewhat naive newcomer to galactic politics. For now. Little did the Council know that humans had spent centuries preparing for this moment, always imagining that what waited among the stars might not be friendly. Hope for peace, prepare for war. The philosophy that had shaped Earth's hidden defenses that the Galactic Council would hopefully never need to witness firsthand. The journey to Nexus Prime took 3 days aboard the Council transport ship. Commander Mitchell spent most of that time studying Council records made available to them, while Ambassador Warren practiced her speech for the formal presentation. These Council races have been united for over 4,000 years, Mitchell told Warren as they sat in their shared quarters. The room was designed for beings much taller than humans, making the furniture awkwardly oversized. 4,000 years without major conflicts, Warren added. That's impressive. Mitchell nodded, but his expression remained doubtful. Too impressive. I've reviewed their historical records 3 times. There are gaps, especially around periods of membership expansion. You think they're hiding something? Warren asked. I think every civilization has its dark chapters. Mitchell closed his datapad, and I think they see us as primitive because we're honest about ours. The ship announced their arrival at Nexus Prime with a series of musical tones. Mitchell and Warren gathered their materials and made their way to the observation deck. Nexus Prime was magnificent. The artificial habitat orbited a blue giant star, capturing its energy through massive arrays that glowed like golden petals. The station itself was a marvel of engineering. A rotating wheel 20 kilometers in diameter with spires and domes along its outer ring. It's beautiful, Warren whispered. Their council guide, Zixtar, approached from behind. Impressive, isn't it? The central hub has stood for 8,000 years. Each ring represents an era of council expansion. Your engineering is remarkable, Mitchell admitted. One day, with council guidance, perhaps your species might contribute to such wonders. Zixtar's translator conveyed his condescending tone. Perfectly. Mitchell kept his expression neutral. Let them underestimate humanity. It was working exactly as Admiral Harrison had planned. The transport docked at one of the smaller bays, and Mitchell noted how the Earth delegation was being kept away from the main diplomatic terminals. Another subtle sign of their perceived status. Dr. Olivia Patel met them at the dock. Her expertise in xenobiology and alien technology had earned her a place on this mission. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and she carried several data devices. Commander, Ambassador, she greeted them. I've been here for 2 days. You should see their medical technology. It's fascinating. Save the technical. Talk for later, Doctor, Mitchell replied. We have our presentation in 1 hour. The Grand Council chamber was an imposing amphitheater with thousands of alien representatives. The human delegation was assigned a small podium near the bottom, while council members looked down from all sides. Mitchell felt like they were on display, an exhibition for the amusement of the galactic community. Council chairperson Nalbeth called the session to order. Her blue skin seemed to shimmer under the chamber lights. Today we welcome representatives from Earth, a newly discovered world that has recently achieved faster-than-light travel, she announced. They seek recognition not as a protected world, but as full council members. Murmurs and translated chuckles rippled through the chamber. Mitchell clenched his jaw but maintained his diplomatic expression. Warren stepped forward first. Her speech was eloquent, outlining Earth's history, achievements, and hopes for peaceful cooperation. Then Mitchell took over, describing Earth's governmental systems and defense capabilities. Earth maintains a modest defense fleet, he explained. Our orbital platforms focus on asteroid defense and early warning systems. We have 24 ships capable of interstellar travel, primarily designed for exploration. Our defensive philosophy prioritizes early detection over overwhelming force. The military advisor, a draconian named Grizak, interrupted with a question. These orbital platforms, what is their primary armament? Mitchell displayed images of Earth's visible defense systems, standard particle beam technology for asteroid deflection, and limited energy shields. Grizak's expression was difficult to read, but his translated voice carried clear amusement. These would barely be sufficient to repel asteroids, as you say. Certainly not any military threat. Laughter echoed through the chamber. Mitchell noticed how many species seemed to find Earth's defenses entertaining. Dr. Patel stepped forward. Council members, Earth has chosen different technological paths than weapons development. Our focus has been on sustainable energy, medical advancements, and environmental stabilization. Noble pursuits, Nalbeth acknowledged. But the galaxy can be dangerous. Species that cannot defend themselves must be protected. A new voice joined the conversation. A bulky, gray-skinned alien stepped forward from one of the higher tiers. I am Ambassador Vortan of the Krell Dominion. We find Earth's approach refreshing. Perhaps a cultural exchange would benefit both our peoples. Mitchell didn't like the way Vortan emphasized cultural exchange. He had studied the Krell in the provided files. They were expansionists who had joined the council relatively recently, only about 300 years ago. Their history before that was suspiciously incomplete. Earth welcomes cultural exchanges, Warren replied diplomatically. The council session continued for hours. Eventually, they called for a vote on Earth's status. The result was unanimous. Earth would be classified as a Category 3 developing world, eligible for guidance but not full membership. As they left the chamber, Mitchell noticed the Krell ambassador watching them closely. He sent a coded message to Admiral Harrison. Protocol watchful eye showing results. We are being underestimated as planned. However, Krell interest may accelerate timeline. That evening, in their assigned quarters in the diplomatic sector, Mitchell, Warren, and Dr. Patel reviewed the day's events. They laughed at us, Dr. Patel said. Actually laughed at our defense systems. Mitchell nodded. Perfect. Admiral Harrison will be pleased. Warren looked concerned. The Krell representatives have requested private meetings with Earth. They seem very interested in our resources. Too interested, Mitchell agreed. I've been reviewing historical records about newer council members. Several joined after cultural exchanges with the Krell. Dr. Patel's eyes widened. You think they're planning something? Before Mitchell could answer, his communication device activated. Admiral Harrison's face appeared on the small screen. Commander, we're detecting unusual activity, Harrison reported. A Krell fleet has departed Nexus Prime. 12 ships heading for Earth. The Council has authorized them for a diplomatic mission. Mitchell exchanged glances with Warren and Patel. How long until they reach Earth? 5 days at their current speed, Harrison replied. We're tracking them, but officially we're preparing a welcome ceremony. And unofficially? Mitchell asked. Harrison's expression was grim. Protocol Watchful Eye is shifting to alert status. Captain Rodriguez and the USS Vigilant are moving into position. Our primitive defenses are ready to show the Krell what humans consider a proper welcome. Mitchell nodded. Keep us informed. We'll continue our role here. After ending the transmission, Mitchell looked at his colleagues. It seems our new friends are eager to see Earth up close. They think we're helpless, Warren said softly. Mitchell's smile held no humor. Let's hope they maintain that belief, right until the moment they realize their mistake. Captain Susan Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the USS Vigilant, her dark eyes fixed on the main display. The ship appeared modest by any standards, a vessel that might be used for basic patrols or science missions. At least, that's what it was designed to look like to outside observers. Status report, she ordered, her voice calm despite the tension on the bridge. Lieutenant Eric Palmer looked up from his intelligence station. The Krell fleet will enter our solar system in 30 minutes, Captain. 12 warships, including one command vessel nearly 3 times our size. Rodriguez nodded. She was a veteran of Earth Space Forces with 15 years of experience. Her crew was handpicked for this mission. Operation Watchful Eye had been in planning for decades, long before humanity made first contact. Some called it paranoia. Rodriguez called it prudence. All systems remain in standby mode, her first officer reported. We appear as a standard patrol vessel on their sensors. Good, Rodriguez said. Maintain position and keep all advanced systems in stealth mode. We're just a welcoming committee as far as they know. On the other side of the solar system, Admiral Harrison coordinated Earth's defenses from the hidden mountain complex beneath Denver. Holographic displays showed the positions of Earth's disguised defense grid, satellites that appeared to be weather monitors, communications relays, or scientific instruments but harbored far more lethal capabilities. The Krell are maintaining their approach vector, a technician reported. Their weapon systems are powered but not targeted. Harrison nodded grimly. Let's hope they maintain that posture but prepare contingencies for all scenarios. The Admiral opened a secure channel to Commander Mitchell on Nexus Prime. Mitchell, the Krell fleet is about to enter our system. Any additional intelligence from your end? Mitchell's face appeared on the screen. He spoke carefully, aware that, even on a secure channel, they might be monitored. The Council officially describes this as a standard diplomatic mission, but we've detected unusual communications between the Krell ambassador and their fleet. Something about resource evaluation protocols. Understood, Harrison replied. Stay alert. Things may happen quickly. Back on the USS Vigilant, Captain, Rodriguez watched as the Krell fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. Their ships were impressive, sleek, predatory designs with obvious weapon mounts along their hulls. They're not trying to hide their military capabilities, Lieutenant Palmer observed. No need when you think your opponent is harmless, Rodriguez answered. She opened a communications channel. Krell vessels, this is Captain Susan Rodriguez of the Earth vessel USS Vigilant. Welcome to the Sol system. We're here to escort you to Earth. There was a brief pause before a response came through. The translator converted the harsh Krell language to English. Earth vessel, this is Commander Drakthor of the Krell diplomatic fleet. Your escort is unnecessary but acknowledged. Rodriguez smiled thinly. Nevertheless, we insist. Earth protocols require escort for all visiting vessels. Please follow our designated flight path. The communication ended and Rodriguez turned to Palmer. Are they scanning us? Extensively, Captain, he confirmed. Their technology is impressive, but they're only seeing what we want them to see. The Krell fleet moved deeper into the solar system, following the USS Vigilant at a distance. As they passed Jupiter, one of the Krell vessels broke formation slightly, directing intensive scans toward one of Jupiter's moons. They're examining our mining operations on Europa, Palmer noted. Rodriguez nodded. Resource evaluation, just as Commander Mitchell suspected. In the Council hub on Nexus Prime, Mitchell and Warren were invited to a special session. Many Council members were gathered around displays showing the Krell fleet's approach to Earth. A historic moment, Council Chairperson Nalbeth announced. The Krell Dominion's diplomatic mission will help integrate Earth into the galactic community. Mitchell noticed how several Council members exchanged knowing glances. They were watching something they'd seen before, a diplomatic mission that would likely end with Earth accepting protection and guidance. We're honored by the Council's interest in our world, Mitchell said carefully. The Valurian representative, Zixtar, made a dismissive gesture. The Krell have extensive experience helping developing worlds understand their place in the galactic order. Ambassador Warren maintained her diplomatic smile. Earth has always found its own place. As the Krell fleet approached Mars, Commander Drakthor sent a message directly to Earth's government, bypassing Captain Rodriguez. People of Earth, the translated message began. The Krell Dominion, with the blessing of the Galactic Council, requests unrestricted access to your planet for cultural and resource assessment. This is standard procedure for all new species. Admiral Harrison responded personally from Earth Space Command. Commander Drakthor, Earth welcomes cultural exchange, but unrestricted access is not possible. We have established protocols for visitation and survey. There was a long pause before Drakthor's reply came through. Admiral, perhaps you misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The Council has authorized this assessment. Restriction would be seen as unfortunate. In the Council hub, Mitchell watched as the Krell commander's message was broadcast to the gathered representatives. He noticed how few seemed surprised by the threatening tone. Mitchell leaned toward Warren and whispered, "This has happened before. The Council is using the Krell as their enforcers. On the USS Vigilant, Rodriguez received new orders from Admiral Harrison. Captain, it seems the Krell are not interested in our protocols. Implement Phase 2 of Operation Watchful Eye." "With pleasure, Admiral," Rodriguez replied. She turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Prepare to show our visitors what humans consider proper defense." The Krell command ship moved ahead of its fleet, approaching Earth's orbit more quickly. Commander Drakthor's voice came through again. "We detect minimal defensive capabilities. To avoid unnecessary damage to your infrastructure, we suggest immediate compliance." Admiral Harrison's response was calm. "Commander Drakthor, I would advise caution. Appearances can be deceiving." "A common saying among primitive species," Drakthor replied. "We detect 24 orbital platforms with minimal weaponry, and your largest vessel is currently escorting us. Our scans show nothing that poses a threat to our fleet." Harrison smiled grimly. "Commander, those scans are showing exactly what we want them to show. This is your final warning. Establish standard orbit and await authorized landing coordinates." In the Council hub, the displays showed the Krell fleet taking up attack positions around Earth. Many Council members were now watching with intense interest. "It seems Earth's defiance will be short-lived," Zixtar commented. Mitchell said nothing, but checked his secure communicator. The message from Admiral Harrison was brief. "Showtime." On Earth in the mountain complex, Admiral Harrison gave the order. "Activate Artemis Network. Authorization code. Humanity first." Captain Rodriguez received the confirmation on the USS Vigilant. "All hands prepare for defense revelation. Show them what we've been hiding." As the Krell fleet prepared to demonstrate their superiority, Earth revealed its hand. The bridge of the Krell command ship fell silent as their sensors suddenly went blank. "What's happening?" Commander Drakthor demanded. "Why have we lost sensor readings?" His technology officer worked frantically at the control panel. Unknown, Commander. Some kind of interference just activated. In Earth orbit, a remarkable transformation began. The seemingly basic satellites and orbital platforms that the Krell had dismissed began to change. Panels slid open, revealing advanced weapon systems. Some platforms expanded to 3 times their previous size, unfolding like mechanical flowers to reveal energy projectors and shield generators. On the USS Vigilant, Captain Rodriguez smiled as her outdated patrol vessel initiated its true form. The outer hull, designed to appear primitive, reconfigured as armor plates shifted and weapon ports opened. Stealth systems disengaged, her first officer reported. True configuration active. Most impressive of all was what appeared from nowhere. Across Earth's orbital space, dozens of ships and defense platforms simply materialized, having been hidden by advanced cloaking technology. Where the Krell had detected only 24 orbital platforms, there were now over 200. Where they had seen only a handful of ships, a fleet of 80 vessels now surrounded them. On Nexus Prime, the Council observation chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. The displays showing Earth's orbital space had transformed completely. Where moments before there had been a seemingly defenseless planet with basic technology, now there appeared a world bristling with advanced weapons and defenses. Impossible, Zixtar exclaimed. Their technology is primitive. We saw their defense systems. Commander Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. You saw what we wanted you to see. In the Denver Mountain Complex, Admiral Harrison watched with satisfaction as Earth revealed its true capabilities. Beside him, Dr. Alan Grayson, head of Earth's weapons development, monitored the systems as they came online. All defense grids functioning at optimal levels, Grayson reported. The Artemis network is fully operational. Harrison opened a channel to the Krell fleet. Commander Drakthor, perhaps now would be a good time to reconsider your approach to this diplomatic mission. On the Krell command ship, Drakthor stared at the transformed scenario before him. His intelligence had been completely wrong. Where they had expected minimal resistance, they now faced overwhelming firepower. This is deception, he snarled. You hid your true capabilities from the Council. We were cautious, Harrison replied calmly. Humanity has learned through its own history that new relationships should begin with care, not complete vulnerability. Captain Rodriguez positioned the USS Vigilant between the Krell fleet and Earth. Her ship now clearly displayed its true form, a heavily armed defensive vessel with technology that matched or exceeded the Krell ships. Commander Drakthor, she called, the USS Vigilant offers you one final opportunity to establish standard orbit and follow proper diplomatic protocols. Otherwise, we will be forced to escort you from our system. The Krell commander was not used to being challenged. With a roar of anger, he ordered, "Target their lead vessel. Show these primitives the consequences of deception." The Krell warship fired its main weapon, a powerful energy beam aimed directly at the USS Vigilant. What happened next astonished even the Council members watching from Nexus Prime. The beam never reached its target. Halfway between the ships, the energy simply stopped, caught in a shimmering field that seemed to absorb and dissipate the attack completely. Adaptive shield technology, Dr. Grayson explained to Admiral Harrison. One of our more recent developments. Captain Rodriguez didn't wait for a second attack. All ships, implement containment protocol. Non-lethal response authorized. From Earth's defense grid, dozens of small objects launched toward the Krell fleet. They looked insignificant compared to the massive warships, but as they approached, they multiplied. Each tiny drone split into hundreds more, forming swarms that surrounded each Krell vessel. What are these? Drakthor demanded as the swarm enveloped his ship. The answer came in the form of thousands of small energy pulses that danced across the Krell vessels' hulls. Ship by ship, the Krell fleet lost power. Engines died. Weapon systems went offline. Communication arrays fell silent. In less than 5 minutes, the entire Krell diplomatic mission had been neutralized without a single ship being destroyed. On Nexus Prime, the Council chamber was in an uproar. Members from dozens of species were talking at once, their translators creating a cacophony of shocked exclamations. "How is this possible?" Council Chairperson Nalbeth asked Mitchell directly. "Your defense presentation showed nothing close to this level of technology." "We showed you our public-facing defense systems," Mitchell explained. "Every nation on Earth maintains more advanced systems in reserve. It's standard practice dating back centuries." Ambassador Warren added, "Earth has always lived by a simple philosophy: hope for peace, prepare for war." In Earth orbit, Captain Rodriguez established communication with the now powerless Krell command ship. "Commander Drakthor, your vessels will regain minimal power in approximately 1 hour, enough to return to Krell space. Consider this a diplomatic courtesy." Drakthor's fury was evident even through the translator. "This violation will not stand. The Council will hear of this deception." "The Council is watching right now," Rodriguez replied calmly, "and I suspect they're learning an important lesson about making assumptions." At the Denver complex, Admiral Harrison received communications from governments worldwide. Earth's unified response to the Krell threat had worked perfectly. The plan developed over decades had proven its worth. "Send a message to Commander Mitchell," Harrison instructed his staff. "Tell him it's time for Phase 3. Earth is ready to negotiate as equals." On Nexus Prime, Mitchell received the message and turned to the assembled council. "Honorable representatives, it seems there has been a misunderstanding about Earth's place in the galactic community. Perhaps we should discuss our status again, this time with accurate information." Six Tar, who had been most dismissive of Earth's capabilities, could only stare at the displays showing the disabled Krell fleet. "How many other capabilities are you hiding?" Nalbeth asked quietly. Mitchell's expression remained diplomatic. "Council Chairperson, in the spirit of our new, more honest relationship, I would be happy to arrange a proper demonstration of Earth's defensive technology. But I suspect that what you've seen today is sufficient to reconsider our classification as a Category 3 developing world." Around the chamber, council members who had previously laughed at Earth's defenses now watched Mitchell with new respect, and in some cases, fear. The age of underestimating humanity had ended in a single decisive demonstration. 1 week after the Krell incident, Commander Frank Mitchell stood at the center of the Grand Council chamber on Nexus Prime. The room felt different now. Where once the human delegation had been assigned a small podium near the bottom, Mitchell now addressed the council from the central platform. Ambassador Warren and Admiral Harrison stood beside him, forming a unified front. The chamber was filled to capacity. Word had spread quickly through the galactic community about how Earth had effortlessly neutralized a Krell battle fleet. Species that had dismissed humans as primitive newcomers now sent their highest representatives to learn more about this surprising civilization. "Members of the Galactic Council," Mitchell began, his voice carrying clearly through the vast space. "1 week ago you classified Earth as a Category 3 developing world. Today I stand before you to correct some misconceptions." Admiral Harrison stepped forward. He had arrived from Earth 2 days earlier, his first visit to Nexus Prime. His weathered face showed no emotion as he addressed the council. "For over a century, humanity has prepared for first contact," Harrison explained. "Not out of fear or aggression, but out of prudence. Our history taught us that meetings between different cultures don't always go smoothly." Nalbeth, the council chairperson, leaned forward. "Admiral Harrison, the council is curious. How did Earth develop such advanced defensive technology without our knowledge?" Harrison smiled slightly. "Earth never hid its defensive nature. We were simply careful about revealing its full extent. What you saw was only our first layer of defense." A murmur ran through the chamber. Mitchell noticed how several representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Ambassador Warren took over the presentation. "Humanity has always followed a dual path. We genuinely seek peace and cooperation, but we also prepare for less favorable outcomes. It's ingrained in our thinking." On the large display behind them, images appeared showing Earth's history, the development of its space program, the unification of its defense systems, the careful creation of what appeared to be modest technology that concealed far more advanced capabilities. What the Krell encountered was our Artemis network, Admiral Harrison continued, a defensive grid designed to neutralize threats without destruction. We prefer to disable rather than destroy. Commander Drakthor, who had been summoned to explain the Krell fleet's failure, stood rigidly in his assigned place. The humans used deception. They hid their true capabilities from the Council. Mitchell addressed this accusation directly. We shared exactly what most nations share in first diplomatic meetings, our public-facing capabilities. No more, no less. Ambassador Warren added, Earth has never claimed to be harmless. We simply allowed others to make their own assumptions. Council Military Advisor Grzak, who had previously laughed at Earth's defenses, now studied the humans with new interest. The drone swarm technology that disabled the Krell ships, it absorbed energy weapons and converted them to its own use. I've never seen such technology. One of many approaches we've developed, Harrison acknowledged. Earth's nations competed technologically for centuries before unifying our defense grid. That competition bred innovation. Nalbeth called for order as excited discussions broke out across the chamber. It seems clear that Earth's classification requires immediate reconsideration. I propose reclassifying Earth as a Category 1 advanced civilization, with all rights and responsibilities that entails. The vote was unanimous. Even the Krell representative, after a long hesitation, raised his hand in agreement. Earth had earned its place among the advanced species of the galaxy. As the formal session ended, representatives from dozens of species approached the humans, eager to establish connections with this surprisingly powerful newcomer. Mitchell noted, with irony, how many of them had previously dismissed Earth entirely. Isn't it interesting how quickly attitudes change? Warren murmured as they moved through the crowd of suddenly friendly aliens. Power recognizes power, Harrison replied quietly. They respect strength. Now we need to show them we value cooperation even more. In a private meeting room later that day, the Earth delegation met with the Council's inner circle. Zix Tar, who had been most dismissive of humans, now addressed them with careful respect. Earth's approach to joining the galactic community has been unconventional, he admitted, but effective. Several Council members have expressed interest in defensive technology exchanges. Mitchell smiled. Earth is open to technological exchanges, but we're equally interested in cultural and scientific cooperation. Nalbeth studied the humans carefully. There is one question many Council members are afraid to ask directly. If what we saw was only your first layer of defense, what else are you hiding? Admiral Harrison met her gaze steadily. Chairperson, every civilization has its secrets. We've shown enough to establish mutual respect. The rest can be shared as trust develops. This answer seemed to satisfy her. Fair enough, Admiral. Trust does require time. As the meeting concluded, construction was already beginning on Earth's new embassy on Nexus Prime. The small, modest quarters previously assigned to them had been replaced with a prime location in the diplomatic sector. Workers rushed to complete the structure as dozens of species lined up to establish formal relations with humanity. On an observation deck overlooking the construction, Mitchell and Harrison watched the activity below. Operation Watchful Eye worked, even better than we hoped, Mitchell said. Earth has gone from unknown newcomer to respected power in less than 2 weeks. Harrison nodded. Respect is good. Fear would have been problematic. Some of them do fear us now, Mitchell pointed out. They fear what they don't know, Harrison replied. Our job now is to show them the other sides of humanity. Our art, music, philosophy, science, our desire for genuine peace. Mitchell smiled. All the things we actually wanted to share from the beginning. Sometimes you need strength to create the space for friendship, Harrison said. An old lesson from Earth's history. As they looked out at the stars visible through the massive observation window, both men felt the weight of responsibility. Earth had successfully announced its presence to the galaxy. They had gained respect through strength. Now came the harder part, building true cooperation and trust. Below them, the line of alien representatives waiting to meet with the humans grew longer. Among them were species that had laughed at Earth's defenses just days before. None of them were laughing now. Earth had earned its place among the stars, not through deception but through preparation and patience. The strategy developed over decades of planning for first contact had worked perfectly. Humanity had hoped for peace and prepared for war. In doing so, they had secured both respect and the possibility of true friendship in the galactic community.